Oh, are you okay, Leslie? Hi,
Good morning. How are you?
you're cracked.
Sorry. We'll explain what that was in a moment if you don't know.
Yeah.
I'll say this. It's lovely out there this morning. Long day at
Mm.
last. I think the forecast for today is actually not bad. I think a couple of passing showers again, kind of like yesterday. But overall should be nice and dry. Maybe a bit more cloud, all right, to be fair. But still, it should be mainly dry today. Temperatures again up around maybe 13, 14, maybe 15 in places. I found it kind of warm yesterday. Kind of like, well, certainly no cold there anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was a bit warmer than recent days. I found it very warm in my car, if that makes sense. I used my air conditioning yesterday for the first time in ages. So it
Yeah.
was a
Oh,
different
yeah.
sort of day. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So it should be like that for the day, thankfully.
You're good today?
All good. Yeah, yeah. I'm in good form. I haven't had coffee yet, but I'm pumped. Woo!
I just made my coffee in my very big new mug. Can you see how big that mug is compared to
Yeah,
my head
I was just gonna
size?
say it
Yeah.
looks a bit like a bowl, to be honest. It looks like
Well,
she's
it
sipping
is a
out of a
bit,
bowl.
yeah, it is a bit bold. Like, well, I made that coffee about 5 minutes ago, Andrew, with by boiling water in the saucepan again. We've now got another kettle down. Kettle
Oh,
down, kettle
kettle
down.
down.
Yeah.
Hashtag kettle
Well, you
down.
see, with the last time the kettle broke, we just got an old kettle from somebody because we were too mean to buy a new kettle. And I hate waste. So I was like, I'll take your old kettle that looks like it's absolutely on its last legs. And now that kettle, it was on its last legs. That's gone now. So anyway, new kettle must be boiling water in the saucepan is pretty annoying.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It's very low
Old
tech.
fashioned,
It's very
low
low
tech.
tech. Very
Low
low
tech.
tech.
Yeah. Listen, the front pages of the papers, there's a lot of sad news and bad news. So I'm going to start with something nice on the front page of the Irish Sun today. Okay, I'm going to have to try and say this now. The headline: Naomi Campbell.
Yeah,
Naomi
yeah,
Campbell.
you
Did I
did
get that
good.
right?
You did good. You did good.
Yeah.
You did good.
Naomi Campbell has become a mum for the first time at the age of 50. So fantastic news. The supermodel called her girl a beautiful little blessing and shared the news on her Instagram. So that's on the front page of the Irish Sun today. A beautiful little blessing. Isn't that nice? My little boy has grown up homeless, the housing crisis. A woman, mum, Lauren, and her son Jeremy talk about life in a hotel, which is very, very sad news, obviously. And Premier League action last night: Chelsea 2, Leicester 1 is how it finished up. And they've got a full reaction and review of that game inside the Irish Sun Sports section today.
The Examiner this morning, front page picture is of Leslie Roy from the Eurovision last night. The headline says, "Wrong Direction." Ireland's Leslie Roy rehearses her song Maps ahead of this first semi-final last night for the 65th Eurovision Song Contest in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. And sadly, Leslie didn't go through. Now, we say sadly because, look, at the end of the day, whether you love it or you hate it, if you're one of those people who's like, ugh, I hate it, I don't watch it, then you're a liar, because you probably do.
Yeah.
But it would have lifted the country just for that 3 minutes she'd have been on stage Saturday night for the final. But sadly, she didn't go through last night. A lot of talk online about it. It's trending as well, which we'll come back to in a few minutes. That's what that whole thing was about. Me going to if you watch back the performance, it's up on YouTube already. The headline is: New law to limit bulk sale of houses. Thousands of homes already sold to funds will not be protected, as councils will be allowed to ring fence up to half of new housing estates for owner occupiers under new rules aimed at tackling the influence of these so-called cuckoo funds. And also on the front page there this morning, fears Aer Lingus may quit Shannon and Cork. There's the decision by Aer Lingus to completely shut its crew base at Shannon Airport and temporarily close the Cork one has raised fears that the airline may be trying to abandon the two bases in favour of Dublin. That's another story in the Examiner there this morning.
Well, I've been looking at the Irish Daily Mail today, Andrew, and it's just a harrowing, harrowing story on the front page. I just want them back. A quote from the mother who's stand accused now of murdering her three children. That was what she told Gardaí in her first interview following their deaths. The trial of Deirdre Morley heard harrowing evidence yesterday. She tried to sedate them the day before they died. She's pleaded not guilty, obviously, by reason of insanity. She suffered from depression and bipolar disorder and believed that she had passed mental illness onto her children. The Central Criminal Court heard yesterday. Awful stuff. Or really
Yeah.
just Maybe keep the kids away from some of the headlines and some of the newspapers and all today, I'd say. Irish Daily Mail, I don't know what this is about, Andrew. On the top there, you can see it. Could you wear the same dress for 100 days? So there's the girl involved in this weird experiment, wearing a dress on the left-hand side and then wearing the dress at the top, which looks like the dress just balled up on top as a top. Bizarre. I don't even know if I'm going to read that. No, I couldn't wear the same dress for 100 days. Could you, Andrew?
I probably could, to be fair. There's a guy, actually, I can't think of his name now. He presents the morning TV show in Australia, and he did that just to prove a point that his co-presenter is a woman, and she's getting, I wouldn't say criticized, but they're always like, oh, look what such and such wore on Wednesday morning or whatever.
Yeah.
So just to prove a point, he and nobody realized it, none of the papers did. He wore the same suit for an entire year. Same grey suit, same tie. He wore the same thing for an entire year, and no one spotted it until he himself brought it up. I think his co-host was in on it, but he just wanted to prove the point, like that. Why is no one giving out that I'm wearing the same suit, and yet you're tearing into her for wearing a blue dress or whatever? Yeah. So he was trying to make a good point, but
that's interesting.
Yeah. It's true though, because most people don't take any notice of what a man wears, as you know, Elaine. So most that is anyway.
Well, Andrew, when I did the guest presenting on the Today Show recently, loads of people said, I saw you on the TV, and I saw thanks a million, and they said, you looked lovely, your dress was lovely, or your jumpsuit was lovely, or which is a really nice compliment. But
that's good.
I think people do just obsess over what women wear all the time, including other women. Or the other guest presenters. I mean, most of the coverage in the media was what they were wearing. It wasn't did they do a good job, it was what they were wearing.
It wasn't what was discussed or the content, it was what were they wearing. Yeah. And where can you get that fashion?
So that's cool. That guy is an Australian TV presenter, is it?
TV presenter, yeah. Karl Stefanovic, there you go. Just came to me there. That's his name. Karl Stefanovic, very funny guy. But wore the same suit for an entire year. And on the last day of it, as in the full year of it, he was like, you realise I've been wearing this all the time and nobody has ever asked me or questioned me about it. And yet you pick up on what she's wearing every day of the week for an entire year.
Yeah, so and scrutinise it.
Absolutely scrutinise it, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So he made a very good point. The Irish Independent this morning, that same story you mentioned there, Elaine, harrowing, awful story. I just want them back. Deirdre Morley told Gardaí how she killed her 3 children. I'm not going to go into it. If you want to read it, it's in the Independent and the Mail today, but she goes into quite a lot of detail, to be honest with you, and it's too harrowing to read. And fears grow, hackers will soon begin to drip feed stolen data. There are serious concerns that the HSE hackers will begin drip feeding the stolen data that they as they intensify their extortion campaign. That's according to the front page of the Independent there as well this morning.
Now, some of the top trends that you're waking to today, obviously the Eurovision is trending. Leslie, unfortunately, Ireland not going through to Saturday night. You said something to me, Andrew. Marty said it would have been a good lift for the country. And you're right. Andrew and I were just chatting about it off air there. Andrew was saying, how cool would it have been if we were in the final of the Eurovision Saturday night? People are sitting down with their takeaways and a bottle of beer, a glass of wine and having the crack. But not to be. Maybe this year for the Notches have put us all through to the finals. We can all enjoy it Saturday night. Yeah, that's true. It's just disappointing because, I mean, I did see people kind of slating the song online last night. But like you and I work in radio, we know what song works, and that song works. It's a decent pop song. I have to say though, and I'm Mr. Optimistic, I'm Mr. Positive. Like, I didn't like that last night. The staging was awful. This looking into cameras and paper maches and all this stuff, and she didn't sound great. And I'll put it down to the fact that she was baiting across the stage, sprinting like a mad joke. I didn't like it. I thought it was poor actually, just when you compare it to some of the other stuff. And it's a shame because I do think it's a good song. So it was just poor. Very complicated staging. I agree with you. I think she was nearly out of breath trying to just go from point A to point B to think what do I have to do next. Like, she should have just been thinking about singing the song. Really, I actually felt for her. I don't know that staging was her idea. I'm going to say probably not, but who knows? I suppose. Yeah. Bizarre, just complicated. Right? Yeah, it did. Yeah. The top trends, so as well, Johnny Logan's trending. Andrew, he featured last night, spoke to some previous winners. I didn't see that part actually, I must say.
Yeah, I think it was after all the performance had finished. You know that kind of, there's like about a half an hour gap then between the result being verified and announced, they had to basically fill time. So they spoke to the finalists who were all in on Saturday, like Germany, the UK, France, and so on. They spoke to them. Then they spoke to some previous winners in kind of a montage clip thing, and Johnny Logan featured in it. So yeah, and well, they showed clips of Johnny Logan and clips of Linda Martin in it. Emer Quinn, she was also interviewed as part of it as well last night. Chelsea are trending this morning, as you mentioned there in the sport. They beat Leicester last night to go third with one game to go in the Premier League. And Charles Grodin, many people might not know who Charles Grodin is. Charles is the dad in Beethoven, you know, the movie with the dog, and Problem Child and the Heartbreak Kid. He was the dad in that. He died yesterday, age 86. He's also trending this morning as well.
So we've got another busy show on the way. We kick off in about 2 minutes, I think, or so, and we're live until 9 with lots to do on the programme. We'll play bingo. That means we've cash to give away. We've got our Lee Strand competition, lots of good photos coming in on that, and we'll tell you more about the big invite too, and lots of good music as well.
Enjoy your Wednesday, and we'll talk to you in a few minutes. Have a good day. Good luck.